Thanks for tuning in to the Puzzle Factory. My name's Alex, and today I'm joined from Darren from Dazzas Cooked. He's the owner of Auckland-wide famous pie shop called Ashby Pies. He also has Dazzas Cooked on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it. And he's got quite a name for himself over the last couple of years. He's also the face of One New Zealand, does a lot of content at the Warriors. He's a huge fan of the Warriors and league in general. So we'll dig into that a little bit. But yeah, we're talking pies. We're going to put the worlds to right. And yeah, should be a great conversation. So enjoy. Just a little note while I've got you. As always, the podcast is, enabled by NZ Trade Group. So if you've got an electrical business, you're looking for some help, systems, software, advice, please check us out. Thanks. Dazza, welcome to the Puzzle Factory.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Once again.
I know, that was pretty funny, eh? The forgotten podcast.
Yeah. So, obviously we've done this once before. An old numbnuts here forgot to... Well, I didn't forget. The audio just didn't record because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, no, fair enough. It's hard being a one-man band, eh? We've got some help today.
That's it, mate. Yeah, we've got Matthew... running the show again.
Yeah. I don't think it matters. I can't remember what I said anyway.
No, neither. No idea.
No fact checking.
No, I mean, I'm sure we said something about pies, but that's about it.
The Warriors winning the premiership, most likely.
Yeah. So no, thanks heaps for coming back in, mate. I do appreciate you doing this twice.
Easy.
Bloody good. So what's been going on, mate? I believe you've been down in Wellington this week.
Yeah, so I spent some time in Wellington last week for another cool sort of hospo-based podcast that started up called Kitchen Day.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's actually run by a former employer of mine. So they part own Floriditas and Loretta in Wellington, which are famous restaurants down there. I used to work with Hayden McMillan, who's the chef, and his wife has started a podcast called Kitchen Day.
Oh, cool. I'll check that out.
It's awesome. It's real industry focused, and the idea is they do a sit down podcast similar to this with front of house people, and then they'll do a kitchen podcast, which is live in front of, there must have been 100 people there. And then the chef cooks for everyone as well. Oh, and so we do
on the podcast?
Sort of pre-podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So
try it all out.
Yeah, I was helping another former head chef of mine, Helen Turnbull, who's got a little place down in Parapara Umu.
She got glasses?
Yep.
Yeah. I think I've seen her around. Yeah.
She's just started doing social media content and all that sort of thing as well.
Cool.
Which was fun. And I haven't worked with either of them for over 10 years, but it was, the three of us back in the kitchen was a bit of a laugh and a bit of a fun. And
like no time's gone by whatsoever.
Yeah, it was kind of nice not being the apprentice anymore as well. So I kind of got to give it back a little bit, which was fun. Yeah.
Oh, bloody awesome. So just for the listeners out there, can I get you just to give us the backstory, mate? Where did you come from?
Yeah.
How did you end up where you are? All the rest of it.
Kid from West Auckland that likes pies and loves the Warriors. That's the long and the short of it. So my name's Darren. I came from, grew up out west. When I left high school, I moved to Queenstown.
Yep.
Worked in a couple of restaurants down there. One was named Saffron, which was, pretty famous. It's currently still a nice restaurant called Aosta.
Okay.
On the main road in Arrowtown there. And then I moved from there to a restaurant called Rasa, which was Josh Emmett's first New Zealand restaurant. That's where I worked with Helen. A little bit of time in Auckland at a restaurant
That would have been around the time he was sort of doing Hell's Kitchen and
Master
stuff.
Chef, yeah.
MasterChef, yeah.
So they filmed. I'm in the background of a couple of episodes.
Did you meet Ramdog?
No, he never came out to New Zealand.
Did he not?
I don't know for sure. This isn't fact, but there was always whispers that maybe, and they worked together for a long time. It would sort of be like ending a marriage, right? You'd end up eventually not being super close.
Yeah.
I remember talking to Helen about it once. There was a rumor that Ramsay was in Queenstown on holiday, and she said no, 100% he would have come in for a meal if he did, And it's like because Josh must have worked for him for 20 odd years. Like it was a really long relationship, multiple restaurants, opened lots. Like it would have been a very hard job for Josh to have for sure.
Yeah.
So no, never met Ramsay, but sort of we still had, everyone through. I remember once this was at Saffron, actually cooking for the whole crew of Lord of the Rings.
Oh, wicked.
Michael Hill was one of our best customers because obviously he had the Hills golf course just up the road.
Yeah.
So all of that was quite a fun experience. It was awesome getting away from Auckland at that age, and sort of breaking out of my comfort zone and being broke all the time, and
go have an adventure.
Yeah, well, that was it. It was it wasn't from a lack of earning. It was from a liking to go out most nights and lots to do, and living in paradise. You kind of it's very easy to spend your money.
Party time, eh?
Totally. Yeah. You can stretch. The crazy thing about that was because and it's different now, but there was about a third as many people who live there now.
Yeah, okay.
So what it meant is you'd go from doing 60, 70, 80, 90 hours in the on season, so winter and summer were very busy for hours, and then in the sort of the spring and the autumn, you'd do like 15 hours.
So you just got to have fun.
Well, yeah, but you're also only earning like your rent and a bit.
Yeah. And you've spent it all in the on season as well, right?
Yeah, that's right. You do end up saving a bit through the on season because you're so tired, you don't have the time to spend it as much.
Yeah,
but you certainly, you run thin. You run thin by the time the first week of winter rolls up. That's for sure.
Yeah. I remember there was a good period there, probably around when I first moved to New Zealand, where I'd just spend all my wages on partying, and then I'd be on meager rings and eggs for the whole week.
Yeah, mine was Marmite and cheese on toast. That was definitely my go-to. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Anyway, sorry, I've interrupted you there.
No,
Where did you go from there?
Yeah, came up and worked at a restaurant called Clooney in Auckland, which was, it's closed now. It was a beautiful restaurant. It was big mesh curtains and big round tables, tan booths. We had a little private kitchen downstairs and incredible restaurant. And eventually, it stayed open for a long time, but eventually the market sort of, fine dining is really hard in New Zealand at the moment to have a restaurant that big with that many seats. The sort of the appetite to, I think it's because casual dining's got so good.
Yeah.
And so it's like the sort of the appetite to spend more on a meal like that has kind of dissipated because you can get a much better feed at a casual place. Well, actually not better, but you can get a much better value for money feed at a casual place.
I can appreciate that. Like Clooney was one of my parents' favorite restaurants back in the day.
Yeah, beautiful restaurant.
And I love food. I'd class myself as a little bit of a foodie, but I don't go fine dining. Yeah. I just can't be bothered with the rigmarole.
Totally. Well, so last Saturday I went to Return, which is Matt Lambert's new restaurant.
Yeah.
He's obviously come from the Muscat Room in New York, got a Michelin star. For me, he's probably New Zealand's most accomplished chef. He was the first one to get a Michelin star in his own restaurant. So I think that's, Nick Honeymoon right up there behind him. But so it's his first New Zealand restaurant that sort of he owns. So we went in there for the 5-course last Saturday. Amazing, perfect, had the best time. Amazing wine list, and the wine list is actually really good value for money as well. If you're into wine, I'd recommend getting there ASAP before they put the prices up.
I don't mind a little snifter.
But yeah, the wine list was incredible. So we had a big night. We sort of ordered absolutely everything we could. We got the best wine we wanted. We got had a blast.
Yeah. I
always think in places like that, it almost doesn't matter how good it is. It's going to be really hard for me to want to go back there. Because of I think it becomes an event.
It's an experience,
totally,
right? Yeah.
And you can only have so many events per year before it sort of loses its appeal.
Yeah. And if it's so good that first time, do you go back again and then ruin the memory?
Totally.
Almost,
there's that many other restaurants in Auckland that I haven't been to yet that I want to go to. So you make an event going somewhere else, and you sort of enjoy something else to be able to do that.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean. I've not had heaps of fine dining experiences, but when I have, the thing that I do love about it being a non-chef, not in the industry essentially, is I don't know what is on the plate, but it's surprisingly delicious.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's almost like you have no idea what you're eating, but it's just an experience of flavors, you know what I mean?
Totally. Well, chefs have this trick thing as well. Like even so on Saturday at Return, there was this. It was my favorite dish of the night. Actually, it was like a swordfish dish, and it had this super crunchy broccoli garnish on the outside, but it was so super crunchy. But then it was really acidic.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, how's he managed to get vinegar on this? Like, how's he managed to pickle it? He must have done it so last minute. To get the vinegar onto it and keep it crispy. Yeah. Actually, I went up and asked him afterwards because I couldn't figure it out. And he's got a vinegar powder that he uses. I was like, oh, that makes sense. That's that's not going to make it all wet and soggy. So that's
exactly. But you've still got the flavors there.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And it was so sharp, which was beautiful with the fish.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. Yeah, interesting stuff. So from there, after Clooney.
Yeah,
so were you there to the death? Because I think they closed in 2020 or something.
Almost, but no. So there was so I was there under Des Harris, who was the head chef for a long time, and then it changed to a guy named Jacob Kerr.
Okay.
And he was the guy that come from Noma, and he was the half Japanese guy, and he almost burnt the place down. Rather, it made the news. It was very very exciting. Let's say. So I didn't work under him, and then after that, another chef named Nobu
Yep.
Came in briefly as well. And I'd worked with Nobu briefly. We did a pop-up with Mark Best. Before I left for Melbourne, I came back and did a one night with Nobu, and he was funny. He was the most serious professional chef I've ever worked with. And then we went out for Chinese with him afterwards, and he was the most lovely, friendly, jokey. And it was so hard to read because it was almost like he'd take you out for a dozen beers the night before and then tell you off to be hungover the next day.
Yeah. So he just had a real rigid line between
work was
play
work and play was
work.
play, and he was super serious about both of them. And I've never met anyone whose line is more straight than that. You know, it's like I'm like that to an extent. Lots of professional chefs that I've worked with are like that, and he was another level of that professionalism versus play.
Yeah, okay, just a light switch going on and off.
Yeah, so hard to read. Yeah.
Oh, bloody interesting.
So after that, ended up in Melbourne. Spent a year there working with Hayden McMillan. So my business partner, who was my girlfriend at the time, and current business partner, we moved there forever.
Yeah.
Michelle was there for 3 weeks, didn't settle, came back and started doing
3 weeks.
Yeah, started doing her cakes, but I got a job that I really liked, so I ended up staying for a year.
Yeah.
Before coming back, and I was meant to land back in restaurants. I was meant to land back in restaurants. But yeah, she opened her cake shop. We opened it with next to no money, and it was a small little 20 square meter shop in Point Chev.
Yeah.
And so I ended up working in it full time, and then before we know it, we're onto our second shop, which we've now sold, sold the chattels in our first shop, which is now still a little French pastry shop down there on the corner of Meola and Point Chev Road.
Yeah.
Opened our third shop, which was Table Talk, which we sold in 2019. Opened where Mint is now in Maro Road that we've still got, and then in 2021 we opened Ashby Pies. Yeah.
That's obviously I don't want to dig in too much, but that's quite amazing that you're in a relationship at one point, and then you can go on and be successful business partners afterwards. You know?
It was a real funny. It's worked out really, really good. So when we opened Table Talk, we had an apartment upstairs, and just through the pressure of running two businesses, and we were 21, 22, 23, something like that at the time. So we were really, really young. It wasn't, our relationship wasn't everything in our life anyway.
Yeah,
And at that point, we were both, super career driven, super wanting to get lots of stuff done. And so our life became pretty much just work, and so when we eventually separated, it just meant we didn't live together.
Yeah. Just flatmates.
We still see each other most days. We definitely message every single day, and it's still great friends. And she's got a couple of kids now, and like they're my best mates, it's real cool. Hasn't been any dramas at all. And real funny, when we sold Table Talk, was about 6 months after we'd separated. It was already on the market anyway, because the plan was to always build it and sell it and take that cash to do something else. At that point, we were going to go in our separate directions. And I remember one day she was over at my house and she literally wrote on the back of a napkin, Darren sells mint cakery to Michelle for, I can't remember what the number was, but for X amount. And then she held the napkin up and a pencil to me and said, here, sign this, and took a photo of it. And was like, yeah. In the end, we ended up signing the lease on what Ashby is now anyway. And then, so we ended up voiding that contract.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. How cool.
So that was, there's literally been no dramas. It's been great. It's been smooth sailing.
Yeah, it's just interesting to hear. You know what I mean? Very cool. Very cool. So when you had Table Talk, were you already making pies and stuff, or?
So that's where we started making pies. That was the birthplace of the beef, chicken, cheese.
Right.
They're still making them as well. They have. I was talking to someone about it because someone was
product
"That's
placement.
us there." Yeah.
Ashby Pies. We'll get into this in a wee bit.
So someone's occasionally people will say to me, "Oh, they're not as good as they used to be, or they're not as good as they were." I think the pies there are as good as what they used to be. I just think I've got them better.
Yeah. So they've stayed the same, and you've progressed
totally. And there's probably people out there that'll think that the Table Talk ones are better.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's actually still a great compliment. That they love that. But the process is very similar. Lots of the processes we sort of built there, we still use at Ashby.
Yeah, okay. But obviously you were doing other stuff, like it was a full noise cafe with...
Nah, Table Talk was smaller than Ashby, but we were doing salads and sandwiches and all of that sort of thing. It was, that's a nice story arc actually. So we're doing salads and sandwiches and whatnot there. It's small, it's about a third of the size of what Ashby is.
Okay.
And so when we sold that, the plan was where Ashby is now was to do a full-scale cafe, sit-down menu, cook line, all of that sort of thing. And we got all the plans sorted out. We had a building company good to go. And because we wanted to sort of make as much money as we could, the plan was to build a pop-up in the front of the shop, which was just a couple of framed walls with ply on them.
Yep.
We plumbed our coffee machine in, put the power in, had that all good to go so that we could open that. And then we sort of, because we'd walled everything off, the plan was to build the kitchen in the back. So that just meant we could do a bit of cash flow while we were doing all the.
So you got a facade while you're renoing, basically.
Totally, yeah. And it just meant that we could start making, making a little bit of cash flow out of the site that we were paying rent on while we were doing, because it used to be a dairy, so there was no existing, no existing stuff to.
No commercial kitchen.
Totally. So to build all of that, and then we were right ready to open the pop up the day of the first COVID lockdown.
Yeah.
And then so obviously that then sapped all of our reserves.
Yes, this has worked out fantastically.
It was awesome. It was great. Yeah, it wasn't stressful at all. So that sapped all of our reserves, and so we pivoted to then Ashby. Originally was a bigger version of what Table Talk was. So when Ashby first opened, it did salads and sandwiches and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. So COVID was a bit of a catalyst just to go 100% pie.
Yeah. So the second, it would have been after the second lockdown, I think. Anyway. Start of 2023, there was it would have been after the second lockdown. So start of 2023, there was the borders reopened where they started letting New Zealanders out. And hospitality is such a young people industry.
Yeah.
So anyone under 23 who hadn't been on their OE, hadn't traveled, most of them, hadn't even had their chance to go to Australia or the islands or anything like that as an adult on their own.
Yeah.
They all left in a hurry.
Okay.
But then at the same time, the border wasn't open coming in. So we weren't letting in students. We weren't letting in, working visas. We weren't letting in any other young people. And then the hospitality industry really struggled for staff at that point.
Yeah, so for you that means no workforce, doesn't it? Yeah,
that's it. And there was people coming in who the going rate for chefs at that time was coming in, and it's higher than chefs would get paid now. There was people asking for late 30s, early 40s for jobs because there was that much shortage of labor.
Yeah.
And so at that point I was like, well, I can't afford to pay that and sell what we're selling. So at that point I was like, okay, what can I do for just myself that I can prep and produce just myself? To make it so that I'm not doing lots of little jobs all at once. I'm sort of doing something in bulk that I can produce. And then so pivoted to pies and started making social media videos about it, and it exploded from there.
Yeah. Because I must have caught on to your social media pretty early on, because I was like, this is right up my street. This is just a normal dude cooking food. You know what I mean?
The growth at the start was huge. And for the first 6 months or so, I was only on TikTok, mostly because afraid of friends and family. It's that insecurity thing. Was that Instagram feels
horrible.
Instagram feels real, and TikTok feels so
it out in the ether, right?
Yeah. Which is, I mean, that's a weird. People say it's specifically New Zealand. I don't think it is, but it's a weird thing where the people that should be your biggest supporters, they're sort of also the ones that tease you, but then also I tease my mates. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's just I think they just think it's weird because they're not doing it, and then
totally.
But it's just a form of telling your story. If you're a business owner, it's obviously maximum 101 these days, isn't it? You know what I mean? If you're not doing it, what are you doing?
It's free advertising. It's one of those things where there's, people used to pay up for TV ads and radio ads and all of that sort of thing. Is so the big benefit now is getting paid for brand deals and stuff that I do. But even prior to that, the value of every video is definitely over $1,000.
Yeah.
And in terms of, if I get 10,000 people to see it, if I get a 1% return on that, it's huge.
Yeah. How good, eh? So Ashby went pretty much hand in hand with you starting the content creation kind of thing.
The change to it was always called Ashby, but the change to pies went with the content. And what it came down to is I basically said, okay, cool, to make enough money to be able to pay enough staff and pay my rent and all of that sort of thing, I need to make about 800 pies a week. How am I going to sell that many?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, that's actually quite a lot, which is crazy because now we do nearly 5,000. But
really?
Yeah. So it's
holy
so at the time it was like, okay, cool. Am I going to be able to produce that much food on my own? And and is that going to be possible? And how am I going to reach that many people? Because we're way out in the burbs and in the mean streets of St. Heliers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty rough around there, mate.
I had someone on a video once because we are really close to Glen Innes, Glendowie, St. Heliers. That we're on that little pocket of
Koei.
And Kiwi, we're on that little pocket of all of them. And sometimes on my video, when people sort of tag the location, so the postal address is St. Heliers, and then quite often people will be like, "That's not St. Heliers, that's Glen Innes Heights," and I'm like,
the posh end. It's the posh end.
It's Glen Innes Heights. Yeah. So,
shit. So when you started the content, did the custom just go through the roof with business?
Especially in the first year, it was crazy how reactive the sales were to videos.
Yeah.
It's a lot more stable now, and the videos definitely have a lot less cut through. I'm sort of working on a few ideas on how I can refresh it, I guess.
So you've like plateaued a bit almost with it.
Yeah, but it's plateaued near the top, so it's not it's not like a dip. It's but it used to definitely be. And if you look back at the sort of posting dates of a lot of my videos, it used to be, okay, cool, we're quiet. I'll make 1, 2, 3 videos, and then all of a sudden we get slammed for 3 weeks, and I wouldn't have time to make a video.
Yeah, okay. So
and then it would start to dip again, and I'd go, okay, cool, let's get more stuff, let's make more videos, and bang, go again. It definitely, it doesn't have, even a good video doesn't have that virality effect anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of goes back to what I was saying about return. Even for us, it doesn't. Even for us at that smaller end, if you're living on the shore somewhere, right, and you want to get an Ashby pie, you'd make that special trip. It almost doesn't matter how good it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while before you make that special trip again. You know?
Totally.
The bonus I have at my price point is that if you're in the area, you probably would go again.
Yeah. So obviously you built up that virality. You'd built up a good reputation, I guess, for the business, but then you slowly started getting all the locals, right?
Totally.
And you become the local place to go. Yeah. Okay. Interesting how it works, isn't it? You spread it far and wide, but it actually ends up being all your local custom that,
100%.
that are your bread and butter, you know?
Yeah. And that's the thing now, like there's often, at the moment, we're getting constantly asked to take on new leases and take on new sites and all of that sort of thing. And it's getting to a point where that's becoming a little bit more attractive because of in the past, the whole people will come to me idea.
Yeah.
Is quite nice, but because now the brand's a little bit stronger, it's getting to that point where I'm starting to consider that.
Yeah.
But yeah, see how we go.
Well, your personal brand is, I'd say, more in the forefront even than Ashby, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's somewhat deliberate as well. Like I won't do pies forever.
Yeah, sure.
There's no intention to sell, but there definitely will be a time where I want to sell and do something else for sure.
Yeah, you want to go do something different.
Yeah, you know, and so it's quite deliberate that I want Ashby to be a business that doesn't rely on me, I guess, being the face of it or being, but still obviously then I care so deeply about it. I want to be active in it as well. So a bit of both.
Totally. But I mean, you've created the recipes, you've created the processes. You've just got to hold the standards up at 100%. That point, eh?
Yeah, and I didn't even realize that this was such a nice sort of, in terms of like standards and culture thing on it as well. So we've got a Google recipe file that all of our recipes go into. There's only 2 people that have editing access. I'm not even one of them. And so
stay away.
one's my former kitchen manager, Bex, and one's my current kitchen manager, Jamie. So all I can do is suggest edits. I can't get in there and muck stuff up, which is good. I'm pretty bad on the computer. So
yeah.
So they call me Shop Granddad, which is quite nice.
Why have you bloody deleted everything?
But I can record audio though, so that's
yeah. Turns out I'm not that great on a microphone.
But no, so what I didn't even realize is that all my ex staff still have access to that full recipe file.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where there's no secrets. If someone wanted to, there's more to it than just that recipe. It goes into the process, the culture, the even just the flexibility of like when it's busy and when it's not, and how to operate the kitchen and all
ebb
of that.
And flow of it all, and how to read it, what to order.
Yep. Yeah. And so it's like you say, it's building those processes and that consistency in the team, which is much more important than anything else outside of that.
Yeah, cool. So can we just let's dig into pies.
I reckon.
All right. So just a bit of intel for you. Pies, I think the first mention of pies in history was around about the 1200s, particularly in the UK and stuff like that. I think before that they went back to Egyptian times. So you're holding up an age-old tradition here, mate. And from what I've read, pies were the first Tupperware, essentially. Yeah. So nobody ate the pastry. It was just a casing for like your meat and veg to go in and stuff, while people were working or whatever, and then throw the pastries away. Same with the Cornish pasty. Yeah, and Australian pies also. Yeah, dry on the outside and terrible. Yeah. Well, I've never had an Aussie pie, actually. I'll stay away. I don't want to spark that debate. So where did you learn how to make pies? Yeah, so for me, for me, the pie culture in New Zealand, I think, is really, really strong. It's something that, as a kid, I loved going to the bakery. Special treat going. Yeah. And like not just pies. Of course, I was always big steak and cheese guy, but all the filled rolls, all the little slices. I'm a big fan of the sausage buns. Like the little, or like the hot dog ones, with like the white bread around sweet on the top. Yeah, a little bit of relish and cheese on top. They're like one of my favorite. Can't leave a bakery without one. Like they're so good. So that whole
that's come over a lot of Cambodian-run bakeries and all of that thing, and they're very consistent. Like it's all different families and all that sort of thing, but bakery to bakery, it's quite a fun. The rest of the world doesn't have that the same.
No.
And it's like so the bakery culture in New Zealand I've always been obsessed with. I've always loved pies and I've always loved great pies. The techniques I use in the actual fillings are a little bit different than what most will use. There's a lot of Bakers products that give that consistency that they use, and so like I don't like a lot of the Bakers products, but
just not up to your standard
or
the quality.
I just think they're a little bit too fail safe where you take away from traditional cooking as much. But what I will say, like their baking technology sheets and like how they look after bakeries and how they look after bakers, and even the pie awards, even though I don't necessarily agree with how they're judged and how they judge them, amazing for the industry. So as a company, like Bakers does lots of great stuff for bakeries in New Zealand. The point of difference I wanted to be is I wanted to use sort of traditional cooking techniques and traditional maybe traditional is not the word. Let's say stuff that I've learned from my career in actual kitchens and actual restaurants. Even that sounds pretentious.
No. It makes other restaurants. It makes perfect sense. If I can help you along a bit there, like and as I was kind of touched on before, what initially pulled me into your content was normally you see a baker or a pie video and it's them scooping some slop filling.
Yeah.
Into a case and then rolling the pastry off the top, getting the cutouts and everything.
Totally.
No, I barely saw any pastry on yours. Yours was all about, how you were building flavor and braising meat and smoking meats out the back before they went in. And
well, that's a fun thing too. Is it's like so we don't actually even make our pastry. I'm working on at the moment getting our own one contract manufactured, but at the moment our pastry is a product we get through our supplier. That's it's not. Yeah. For me, it's not the most important thing, on a pie, which is, crazy to say. But I'm happy with the product we buy in, and we put all of our focus into the filling itself, and it's just another process that I don't have to worry about with staff and all of that sort of thing as well. So it's
okay. And is that sort of pretty common, or
not to my knowledge? No. No. Like I'd say there's a little bit of cost savings with the price of butter at the moment. It's
oh yeah, I can imagine.
And the thing is, the price of dairy is so variable, where my pastry price is pretty consistent.
Okay.
Whereas if I was buying, and that's because the pastry supplier has a long range contract commitment with their butter supplier, so therefore they can hold the pricing and they've got that buying power. Whereas with me buying the butter, my pastry price would have given me a headache over the last 3 years,
especially in the quantities that you'd be buying it compared to them.
Totally. So as something I'm working on at the moment is to have a contract manufactured pastry that's sort of specific to us and a little bit better than what we have, and a little bit more.
Well, I have tried one of these before and it was fantastic.
It's one of those things you can it takes a headache away, and then I just get to cook from nostalgia, So this pie, I try and make it taste like a better version of the pie I ate as a kid.
Yeah,
which is the bakery corner of Triangle Road and Dombuck Road in Massey, which is still excellent.
I do know that bakery.
Yep,
because I like. I know what you mean about the consistency of bakeries in New Zealand. So obviously you've got standout ones. You don't often come across like a really shit one.
No, they won't last.
Yeah, they're normally pretty good. Whereas in the UK, every bakery or pie shop or pasties or whatever, they've all got a completely different style of doing it.
Yeah.
And most of them are great in their own way again, but completely different, It's like, not just pies. I'm a bugger for chicken on a stick.
Yeah, same.
Like a chicken kebab. I'm an absolute fiend for them, eh?
That's what I've been thinking. I've been doing up a bit of a business plan. It's probably a 3 to 5 year plan to be realistic, but I want to do the next Ashby. I want it to be like a full-on bakery, so we're about twice the size of what we do.
Yeah.
And so I want to do chicken on the stick, but not the same ones, because they all sell the same one. It's all from the same supplier, right? So I want to do our own one of those, our own spring rolls. I want to get our own Kranksky made. I kind of want to put like chopped up mince and cheese pies in it, so that it's got like those sort of cheesy bursts like the Kranskys do.
Yeah.
Like do dim sums and do all sorts of fun things like that are
but just elevate them again.
In the same way that we've done with pies, and still cook from nostalgia and still try and do that whole thing. Lasagna toppers and chicken cordon bleus, and sort of have that.
Yeah, all the classics.
Yeah, but not from Liederbrand,
Totally.
So that'll be the next plan, is to move into doing stuff like that.
Yeah. Because I mean, I remember you saying that you actually sort of cook your pies twice, and there's a bit of a completely different process as well, because I totally get if you're braising and trying to build flavor and everything, you're going to want to let that cool overnight and not use it till the next day and stuff. But you were saying you kind of par bake them, eh?
Yeah, so that's because ours are a slightly bigger size / probably 1.5 times the size of a standard bakery pie. What happens is hot things expand. So if you've got that much filling inside a pastry case, it's either going to be really dry and not much sauce, so there's nothing that can expand, or it's going to overflow out the sides when you're reheating it.
Yeah.
So we typically do a 20-minute cook followed by another 20-minute cook. So that also allows us to sell them cold.
Yeah,
so most supermarket brands and stuff you have, they do exactly the same thing. Where it'll get chilled and all of that thing. So they get cooked the first time, taken out, chilled quickly, and then ready to go for the next day.
Yeah, okay. Just doing a bit of background there because I know you've said in the past one of your biggest pet peeves is tradies coming in having a whinge about the price of a pie.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, it's always funny. I always look at that and I'm like, man, you're charging your customer now for travel while you're here buying a pie. You're actually making money eating it.
Yeah, definitely. So what is the price breakdown on one of your pies? What are we looking at, like cost to sell?
When I first opened our business, there used to be the 30-30-30 rule. So you'd have you'd aim for a 10% GP and you'd have your 30% wage, 30% food, 30% everything else.
Yep.
Wages and food have shot the lights out in the last little while. So I think someone told me recently that most hospitality businesses at the moment are doing sort of 4-5% GP on most of their product. We're really lucky. We're sitting around 8-9 at the moment.
Yeah.
But that's because I run a food cost at 25% now.
Yeah.
So if I make it for $1, I've got to sell it for $4.
Yep.
But because of that, our wage cost is sort of 35 to 37.
Yeah.
And it's like I couldn't pay my staff.
So you end up in the same boat anyway. Roughly,
totally. Yeah. It evens itself out. Whereas where wages at the moment, hospitality wages are very low. And they always have been. Margins are really thin. And it's volatile. There's good things to it. I think, like I said last time, you get paid straight away, so that's nice. I've never had to chase an invoice. It's
totally.
So from a cash flow point of view, that's really, really good.
Yeah.
But the cost thing at the moment, and like the other thing, I don't know if your industry is the same, but I imagine it is. I know it was through COVID when there was shortage supplies, but obviously my ingredients I buy in, their pricing's volatile. And at the moment, I've got an inbox full of general price increases, and also everyone's now putting on a fuel surcharge.
Yep.
And that's really difficult to manage because the fuel surcharge is something that, so delivery fees I wouldn't even normally consider. I'd let them fall into the other 30%. But now that's going up, it's going to, so my wages and I've had to bootleg my wages and food costs, whereas now I'm going to have to look at the other 30% to fit in. So even my gas guys are doing a fuel surcharge on delivering the gas bottles.
Yeah.
And so it's all, a lot of suppliers used to offer me free delivery as like a carrot to get me to sign with them kind of thing, and they can't afford to do that now.
Yeah,
and it's the muck around with that is the surcharge idea is funny. Our coffee guys did a similar thing recently as well because there was global pressure on coffee prices, and so it was something that they didn't expect to last forever, but they couldn't say when it was going to end.
Yeah.
So they added like a bean surcharge on that. So every customer blanket across the board got a bean surcharge that they could take away when the pressure's eased and all that sort of thing. It's really hard because I know what they're trying to do is they know that we're getting slammed and we don't want to see price increases, and so they're trying to look after the customer at that same time. But it's also like, man, you're just confusing everything for me now as well. Everything becomes another number and another thing to look at and another thing to consider, and it's kind of like it's just put the prices up and I'll put my prices up and we'll see where we land.
It's more and more variables, and generally if they put a surcharge on, it's never really gonna go away.
No, and arguably it gives them another reason to surcharge anything. It's like well, it's even like PayWave surcharges and stuff. I've always built those into my costs because the speed of PayWave is, we've only got one till. The speed of PayWave is really good for us.
Yeah, of course.
So that's kind of just built into our costs.
Just efficiency kind of thing. Yeah,
totally. Yeah.
I mean, we're both in the same game in the fact that it's cost of materials, cost of labour, cost of overheads, plus your margin, essentially.
Yeah.
Now, I think if you were a sparky business kind of running on 5-6% gross profit, you'd be in a bit of trouble. But different things both ways. Like, as you're saying, you've got to eat all the... Just for a bit of context, we're recording this mid-April, so we're right in the midst of all the Iran stuff and the I think fuel prices did break $4 a couple of weeks ago in some places and stuff.
I try not to look too much at it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it
depressing.
did. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm getting calls all the time from Sparkies saying like, "How do I deal with this?" And I'm like, you've kind of got to split it with the customer and go, we've gone up, we'll eat half, will you eat half, or whatever you're doing, But it certainly isn't making life easy for anyone. And then I think I don't want to go too deep into this, but when the government starts stepping in and maybe trying to subsidize fuel and stuff, it's just putting us further into debt as a government, which is, going to lead to longer term problems with the economy and all the rest of it. So it's a shit sandwich, basically.
Totally. It was something that's actually a really good point. It was because we got heaps of subsidies through COVID and stuff, right? And it was something that became sort of normalized. I think at the time it was important to do that because it was something that definitely was going to end and definitely was going to be, and sort of both sides were on it. I think so now in a lot of the hospitality groups and stuff, there's a lot of hospitality operators that are struggling, and they're sort of sitting there saying the government needs to step in, they need to subsidize us, they need to give us wage subsidies, they need to do all of this so we can pay our staff and we can do all of X, Y, Z. I'm like, you don't open a business to become a beneficiary. No, you've got to find a way to make money. You've got to provide an experience, you've got to bring customers in, and you've got to like pick your socks up and do it yourself. It's a different kettle of fish now Look, I'm very privileged to be able to say that with a business that's that's making money. Like, of course I know that that's that, but that's also something that I've created. And it's something where if you're sitting there in your cafe waiting for customers to come in and you're not making content, you're not running specials, you're not looking at your numbers, you're selling stuff for under margin, you're not watching your wage bill, you're not asking your landlord for help, you're not doing all of that sort of thing. The last person you should put your hand out to is the government. Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't agree more with that. And like, as you say, not being sort of not empathetic to people. We know it's tough times out there, but you make your own luck, right? At the end of the day, and you're right. You shouldn't be going out on a business venture to then have the government bail you out, or else you're as bad as the big banks.
Yeah. Owning a business is meant to be hard. It's like there's and we're moving into a time as well where it's customer perception of value will shift. At the moment, customers think that dining out is expensive, but so I know in my friend group, most of my friends will go out for dinner 2 or 3 times a week. My parents go out once a month. And it's like, and again, that might be from another place of privilege. It probably is, but it's not something I saw growing up. It's not something, even the custom behavior of my customers and how often they dine and how often they get food and all of that sort of thing. Of course, great for me, but it's always, it's surprising how that's become an expectation that ready-to-eat food should be easily available. It's like we should be hassling the supermarket. Supermarket should be cheaper. Most of my suppliers cost more than buying from the supermarket.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, costs are going up. Everyone's got to make the margin, right? At the end of the day, or else nobody wants to work for free.
Totally.
It's interesting. I've got my mum and my stepdad over from the UK at the minute. So I was hitting them up going, like, is it easier or harder now than it was when you were my age or whatever? And they're like, it's probably easier. It was smaller numbers back then, but we had less, you know what I mean? And now it's just big numbers, but I think you do have a bit more margin. But then you've also got to take into account of like, as a general rule, most generations kind of get wealthier and wealthier as you go on. So they would have had more of a working class background than me. So it's tricky dicky, but I think we all go through the same cycles as a generation, And I think you've got obviously the classic boom and crash of the economy and the industry,
I've been looking a lot at what happened in hospitality through 2009, the sort of the GFC and all that thing. And the restaurant closures there actually are very similar to what's happening now. And sort of the honey hole that hit after that for everyone was incredible. So it's one of those things, if you can make money now and you can hold on and you can learn, train, like practice stuff, start to understand things, like content, for example, like just start, and you'll learn. And then by the time that's actually starting to make money, you'll be 3 steps ahead of everyone else, and you'll be top of the game.
Well, you got to stand out from the crowd, and I think like we live in a day and age where everyone can essentially have their own TV show. So why wouldn't you do that? You know what I mean?
Nearly everyone's got an iPhone, and if not, they've definitely got a phone with a camera.
Yeah, exactly. So why the hell wouldn't you? You know what I mean? All right, we went a bit serious there, mate.
Oh, it's good. Nearly cried.
I was weeping internally. So obviously, I'll do this at the end because I don't want to spend the whole podcast with shit all over my face.
No, that'll be nice and cold and congealed by then. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, bloody lovely. So there's a bit more to you than just the pies and that. I mean, obviously, you know, we're both in the Warriors jerseys.
That's us.
So you do all the content for One at the Warriors, right?
Well, actually, I have officially, somewhat officially finished up with them. We're working on re-signing at the moment. So by the time this comes out, I might be back with them. Budgeting issue, kind of thing. They're feeling the same thing too. Working on a contract at the moment with Export. I'll be doing some content with Export, which will be.
What about the Rouge, mate?
I know. I mean, I've never heard of them. I'm a big Export guy.
Go where the money is.
No, so that's been really nice, and I'm so privileged to be able to do work at Warriors games. Talking to fans, One NZ has been so good to me through this partnership. Like, I'm desperate to work with them again. We're trying to work on something now to make all the content team wants me, all the finance team can't quite make it work just at the moment. But yeah, we're working on it, and I'm hopeful that that'll come through. Which will be. I
mean, that's a big outfit to get a collab deal with. You know what I mean?
Huge.
How
and,
good
the opportunities that have come with that, like the people I've met, and like I went to the Warriors Awards dinner last year. It's been really, really incredible, and like super thankful and super grateful for that role. I actually got that through Attention Seeker, so Stanley Henry.
Oh, Stan.
Because he was doing the content for One NZ and you know, all of that sort of thing. So it was all through that relationship. And so super grateful for that, which has been great, and hoping to do some more work with them. In the near future, which we I mean, there's a good chance I get a message when I walk off the podcast today. It's Wednesday today, and we're playing on Saturday, so there's a good chance that even happens by then. But
wicked,
we'll see.
Cool.
Working on that, and it is crazy too because it's I remember last year because it was always pre-game and a little bit at halftime if needed, and the idea was that I could go and hang out with my friends afterwards and have a couple of beers and you know, like do all that sort of thing. And there was a couple of games last year where I had to do a couple of after-game interviews because they wanted to try a new content piece.
We steaming.
Well, I didn't drink because it's the whole like be professional and all of that sort of thing. It was important to me, and I remember thinking at the time like, this is a bit stink ready, right? And I'm like, don't be silly. You're getting paid to do this, and there's 30,000 people here that'll do it for free. So absolutely. It's like so at some point. It was that reality check of like, actually, this is a privilege, and like you should be grateful for this, and go from there.
They were really fun videos as well, where like when you're interviewing all the kids and stuff, and they're just super excited. And
the other huge benefit of that, and I didn't realize at the time, but One New Zealand obviously as a sponsor, they get X amount of jerseys to give away. To fans and all that sort of thing. We used to use them as bribes for videos sometimes. But the cool thing about that is people that recognized me from my content with Ashby Pies, because we never alluded that it was me. Like we never drew that gap. So Ashby Pies and One New Zealand weren't working together. Dazzas Cooked was. But the general tie-in was when people recognized me, they would then see my content and then they'll go, oh my God, that's the guy that gave me the jersey. And so I actually got a lot of goodwill out of that as well. So all the jerseys that I gave away for One NZ, I'd say at least 50% of them knew that they were coming. At least 50% of them thought they were coming from me, from Ashby Pies, and they'd come into the shop and they'd be like, oh my God, it's my kid's favorite jersey. Thank you so much. All of that sort of thing. And so that was really nice to be a part of that as well.
How good, because I mean, the more shit you do, it all just synergizes together and rising tide kind of thing.
Totally. It's my face plastered all over their phone all the time. So
exactly.
It's great.
Exactly, mate. Well, I mean, you're a beautiful looking man, mate, so I bloody enjoy it. You know what I mean? And then you've done a cookbook.
Yes, no, I've done a cookbook.
That must have been a bit of a dream of yours come true.
Yeah, no, it was always a dream. It was actually really funny. Once I actually got into the process, I found the admin side of it really hard. I'm definitely a hands-on person, so cooking the recipes and doing the photos and coming up with the concepts, that was all really fun. Doing the admin work of like formatting and doing all the spell checking and all of that sort of thing, was a hard push. And
did you? You obviously had to write all the copy for it and whatnot as well.
So we self-published. So we self-published. We had an editor. My business partner did a lot of the legwork on it. To be honest, like she'd done a cookbook before me as well, and she definitely put a lot more of that.
She knew the drill a little bit.
Yeah, and so definitely that sort of behind the scenes work. She definitely put a lot more work into doing that. Yeah. But the end product, absolutely stoked with. Yeah. When we ordered them, because we self-published, we ordered them from a printer in China, and we sort of had the choice when we did order them to get 3,000 or 5,000. I wish we'd got 5,000. I wish we'd got 3,000. We went for the Brave option, and I've got just over 2,000 left. So we're running a little so it's our 10th year birthday on the 20th of April. Yeah. Today's 15th. Yep, so it's our 10-year birthday, and so we're doing them for $10 for.
That's
for
an
that
awesome
period, which
deal.
is a little loss on them.
Have you got a copy?
No, I thought I bought one in last time, but I can't remember. Did I?
You did. It's at home. It's at home.
Do you like it?
I love it. Well,
I thought I had one in the car, but I didn't. That's okay.
As I
say, put a little cutout of the last shot in there.
Yeah. We'll clip something in. I'll get something clipped in. But if you're listening and you like cooking and you like pies, support Darren and buy the book.
Yep.
Dazzas Cooked.
It'll be on our website too, so it'll be up there. And I'm probably, even when this comes out, I'm probably still going to be running it on a little bit of a special online, just because I want to.
Yeah, nice.
If I had about 500 left, I'd be happy to hold that for the rest of time. But it's a little bit too many to be paying storage on. We want to start bringing in packaging on our own from China and all that, so we want to empty the storage unit out and make some space.
Yeah, they'll go, mate. They'll go. We'll get. I mean, we've got a massive audience.
Perfect.
We're pretty much on the same level as Rogan. So
I like it. Yeah,
these will be sold by the end of the day.
Like a book. If he's listening, Joe, if you're listening, put me a message.
I don't want to burst your bubble. I don't think he's listening.
He might if he hears I'm on it.
Well, Joe Rogan. So what's coming up?
What's coming up? So I've got an away trip for the Warriors next weekend.
Yep.
It's off to Wellington for that.
Well, we had a win last weekend.
I know, bloody good against the Storm.
It's been a bit of a mixed bag, but hey,
broke the hoodoo. Yeah. So that'll be good. Obviously going to the Christchurch game, going to Magic Round. So lots of away trips for the Warriors, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
Just coming into our busy period at the shop.
Yep.
So really excited for that. We've got a really strong team this year, so we're kind of resetting all those processes and standards and sort of making sure that we're ready to go, because our turnover will sort of go up 30 or 40% through winter. Yeah. So making sure sort of everyone's ready just to close their eyes and take it for 3 months.
Head down, ass up.
Yeah, pretty much. Promising them that it'll get better around August, October. Something like that.
It will.
But typically it does. Typically it gets a little bit chill, and then November's really quiet for us as the sort of weather gets a bit hotter. Yeah. So it's quite rough through the winter, and then they get a bit of a break in summer, which is nice. But other than that, working on a few things. Got a few little side projects. I'm working on darts is my other hobby. I think I told you this last time, so I'm still working on that. So I want to set up like a pro-am to run the Thursday night before the PDC when the Darts Masters when they come to New Zealand.
So at the arena or whatever.
Yeah, so it'll be already set up, and I imagine that you could sell like corporate tables, you can do charity auctions, you can do it's sold out the Friday, Saturday night like 4 or 5 months in advance. Mm-hmm. So the Thursday or the Sunday that are already good to go, do tickets, do like Fight for Lifestyle, have a few celebrities up there throwing darts in a pro-am with one of the pro players. Yeah. I don't know, maybe some pie maker from TikTok be up there. I don't know.
We'll see.
But hoping to get that across the line for this year. Mind you, I haven't quite got there on a few little things for it, but if not, I'd say definitely next year. I'd love to get it done.
So how long have you been playing darts for?
About a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, about a year.
Just got invited for a game kind of thing.
A friend fell into it, and now we've joined a club. So we're at Mount Wellington Darts Club, and then I've just joined a Wednesday league. So we've had three nights, and we're undefeated so far. So we're flying.
Awesome,
we might win Div 2's too easy. I'm coming for you, Div 1.
Yeah. It's funny how you just skip through like different hobbies. Like I've played chess since I was a kid, like a game here and there or da. Anyway, I started playing chess again about a month ago.
Yep.
Fucking obsessed.
Yeah. No, it gets like that. And it's the thing is, so darts is a lot like golf in terms of the process, whereas everything's got to be, in line, and the more repetitive you are, the sort of the better you are at it. Yeah. And when we first started playing, my first set of darts was like $80, and I'm like, okay, cool, this is perfect. Nice cheap little hobby that I can do on the side. And then I reckon I spend probably about $200 a week now on flights and darts, and you know, and I was like, I have to have the new one, and these ones are getting a little bit worn out, and now I've got darts where you can change the length of the tip or the style of the tip, and you can do all sorts of little variations.
Customize them all up.
Yeah. Well, there's a set of Star Wars darts that I want, but they're like $700, and I'm like, and that's on special. But they're real cool. They're like Darth Vader's lightsaber, so they're all black, and they're beautiful. And I'm like, man, can I spend $700 on a pair of darts that I won't want to throw?
You can't just. Because I play drums as well, and that is a goddamn expensive hobby. You know, when you're importing snare drums, they're like $2,500 and shit, and it's out of control.
Apparently, and I haven't seen it yet, but apparently the price of tungsten is going up a lot at the moment, and that's one of the main metals they use in darts, so that's driving the price of darts up as well. Where it's so we'll see.
There's no cheap hobbies. If it's cheap, you're just not into it.
It's getting so popular now. I reckon Target's starting to rip us off, eh? But we'll see.
Yeah.
Shout outs Target.
Sponsorship.
We've only got one dart maker in New Zealand, and it's Red Dragon. And so my first darts were Red Dragon. But Target has a lot more interchangeable things. So if Red Dragon brought out the Swiss tips where you can change them, I reckon that'd be pretty good if Red Dragon's listening.
Yeah, they'll definitely be. They're a big fan.
Big fan. Yeah, big fan of the show.
All right, let's get into this thing.
Shall I intro it? That's our beef, chicken, cheese.
Beef, chicken, cheese. I'll try and give a bit of a cross section there.
So that's our version of a steak and cheese. So slow cook beef cheek, a little bit of bechamel and mozzarella in it. Red wine, all the usual suspects. As good as last time.
Probably better.
Oh, good.
Absolutely delicious, that.
No, that's one of my favorites. So we've been making that one year for nearly 10 years. We've been nearly making that one.
Yep. Perfect, so well balanced. I can taste the red wine in there.
I do a lot of miso and soy and all of that sort of thing as well. Get that umami in there.
Yeah. And it's so... I don't want to put them through a whole pie. And the consistency, it's got that unctuous, gelatiny type quality from the stock and whatnot, you know? Yeah, absolutely. So that'll be getting snaffled as soon as we're done, mate.
Yeah, you should get into I bought the chicken and mushrooms there. Make sure you snag a bite of those while you're out there.
Yeah, well, full disclosure, you've brought about 25 pies in here now.
Yeah, that's he just wanted a second morning tea.
Yeah, that's why I didn't record it, mate.
I think when I first did Stan's podcast, he was like, "Oh yeah, sweet. How do we get free lunches? We'll do you on the podcast another time. We'll be good to go."
Yeah, you can be a regular.
Goes good.
No, I'll have to return the favour and bring some sparkies down to the shop.
I got a few jobs. That'll be good.
Yeah, well, we can help you out there, mate. I know a couple of sparkies.
Sounds good.
Yeah, in fact, if anybody wants some free pies, drop us a comment. Hey,
love a contra.
Cool. All right, let's round it up. What are your predictions for the Warriors this season, mate?
Top of the table. They'll only lose 2 games all season, which will be against the Tigers in round 4 and the Sharks in round 5. Win every other game, win the grand final. Probably against the Tigers at this stage, and I think it'll be 74-0.
Oh, well, let us know what you think about that. No, all right, mate. Well, bloody thank you very much for coming in again.
Beautiful.
That
Thanks
was
for having me.
Fantastic. And up the wires.
Yeah,
stay safe out there. Thanks for listening.
Beauty.